Welcome to your funeral, or not. So, you found yourself in a horror movie. My condolences. The air smells like cheap jump scares, questionable life choices. A masked figure with an unhealthy attachment to sharp objects is probably breathing heavily just outside your window. Or maybe the doll your great-aunt gave you is currently sharpening a letter opener in the kitchen. It's a classic Tuesday. Most people in your situation are already mentally composing their own obituaries. They're the ones who will end up as a bloody footnote in the town's morbid history. Another cliché for the pile. But you clicked on this. That suggests a flicker of a survival instinct. A tiny, barely there spark in the vast, empty void of your impending doom. It's pathetic, but I suppose we can work with it. It's time we disappointed them, don't you think? So listen closely. The classic. The rallying cry of the doomed. The moment 5 potential survivors voluntarily decide to become 5 individual victims. It's the single dumbest, most inexplicably common decision in the history of running for your life. Why? Why would you ever think that dividing your strength and multiplying the killer's opportunities is a sound strategy? It's like a gazelle saying to its herd, "You know what? This lion would have a much harder time if we all ran in different directions and made it a fun little scavenger hunt for him." The logic is so flawed it's almost poetic. You might as well just hand the killer a map with little X's marking where each of you will be conveniently isolated and defenseless. The killer, who was just moments ago facing the daunting task of taking on a group, is now practically giddy with delight. He's probably leaning against a tree, checking his watch. Ooh, a 2-for-1 deal in the creepy barn, and then I can swing by the lake to pick off Sarah. Perfect. The whole point of a group is strength in numbers. Instead of this tactical suicide, how about we try something revolutionary? It's called staying together. Grab makeshift weapons, a lamp, a heavy textbook, a fire poker, anything. Now form a defensive circle, you absolute novices. There it is, that dark, ominous door. The one that's slightly ajar, beckoning you with the promise of dampness, spiders, and almost certain death. A strange, rhythmic thumping is coming from down there. Or maybe it's a child's laughter, which is somehow infinitely worse. Every fiber of your being, every primal instinct inherited from ancestors who knew not to go into the scary, dark hole, is screaming at you to run. But what do? You swallow hard, whisper, "I'll be right back," and creep down the stairs like you're accepting a formal invitation to your own dismemberment. Here's the alternative, and it's so simple, it's almost insulting. Don't go in the basement, just don't. When you find the creepy basement door, you should calmly and quietly barricade it. Your problem is the front door and how fast you can get through it. The killer crashes through the front door. Your escape route is blocked. Panic sets in. You have a split-second fight-or-flight decision to make. So naturally, you choose the worst possible option. You run upstairs. Congratulations, you have successfully cornered yourself. You have traded a ground floor with multiple windows, a back door, a potential path to freedom, for a second floor with more rooms to get trapped in. Think about it from a purely architectural standpoint. The killer doesn't even have to run. He can just walk up the stairs, savoring the moment. He knows you have nowhere else to go. So what should you do when the killer is between you and the front door? You improvise. Is there a window on the ground floor? Break it and climb out. Yes, you might get cut, but a few scratches are preferable to being filleted. Don't play chess with a monster when you can just flip the board over and run away. You're running. You're in the woods. The killer is gaining on you. You have a decent lead. Freedom is just a few more yards away. And then it happens. You trip. But what do you trip on? You trip on a patch of perfectly flat, unobstructed ground. Your legs, which have successfully carried you this far, suddenly betray you. You go down, hard. This is perhaps the most frustrating trope. It's the scriptwriter's lazy way of ensuring the killer can catch up. The killer is probably just as confused as the audience, but more importantly, practice falling. Learn how to do a tactical roll. Fall and get back up in one fluid motion. You fall, you roll, you spring back to your feet, and you keep running. Don't let a phantom pebble be your downfall. You're alone in a place where you absolutely should not be alone. An abandoned hospital, a cursed summer camp. Your own house after your parents have been mysteriously disconnected from the phone line. You hear a noise. A sensible person's reaction would be silence. You hold your breath. Become one with the shadows. Don't announce your presence. But that's not what happens in horror movies, is it? You cup your mouth and call out the dumbest question in the universe. Hello? Is anyone there? Of course someone is there. The person with the axe hiding in the closet knows it. You're playing Marco Polo with your murderer. You're Marco. He's Polo. The better move, strategic silence. You hear a noise. You freeze. You listen. You try to pinpoint the sound without making one of your own. The killer expects you to call out. He's listening. Silence introduces uncertainty. You've stolen back a tiny sliver of power. Let him wonder. The chase is on. The killer is hot on your heels. You need to disappear, now. You burst into a room. Your panicked eyes scan for a hiding spot. Where do you go? Under the bed, in the closet, behind the shower curtain. You dive in, pull the door shut or covers over your head, hold your breath. You haven't. You've just hidden in the very first place the killer will look. These aren't hiding spots. They are designated dying spots. Killers have seen movies. They know the playbook. He's enjoying this, smirking, almost taunting. Really? The closet? So where should you hide? Somewhere inconvenient. Think vertically. Climb on top of a tall cabinet. My strategy: misdirection and elevation. Throw a shoe into the closet, create a noise. While he investigates, climb onto the canopy of a 4-poster bed and flatten against the ceiling. From my perch above, I watch, silent as a spider. You have no idea. Don't hide where they expect you. Hide where they'd never think to look. Your car has broken down. Of course it has. You're in the middle of nowhere and your phone has no signal. You see a single flickering light in the distance. A dilapidated 24-hour gas station. You approach and out shuffles the attendant. He's got one milky eye, a suspicious number of teeth missing, and he's wiping his hands on a greasy rag that may or may not be stained with something other than oil. He speaks in riddles and vague, ominous warnings. "Y'all ain't from around here, are ya? Shouldn't go up to the old Blackwood place. Folks who go up there, they don't come back." And what do? You either laugh off his warning or you ask him for directions to the very place he just told you not to go. You trust him. The correct course of action when encountering the crypt keeper's cousin at a gas station is to listen, nod, buy a bottle of water, thank him for the terrifying, unsolicited advice, and then walk in the opposite direction until you hit another town. Before the killer even shows up, the universe is practically screaming at you that something is wrong. The house you just bought for a suspiciously low price has a dark history the realtor forgot to mention. The antique doll you found has eyes that seem to follow you around the room. The town you're passing through has a local legend about a hook-handed man that everyone dismisses. You rationalize all of it, it's just the wind. This old house is just settling. What a fascinating local folklore. You are actively participating in your own downfall through sheer willful ignorance. The story is laying out a breadcrumb trail of clues that lead directly to the conclusion, get out now, but you're too busy admiring the quaint rustic charm of the breadcrumbs to see the path they're forming. The survival strategy is simple. Develop a healthy sense of paranoia. When you learn your new house was the site of a gruesome family murder-suicide, you don't move in, you call your lawyer. When you find a book bound in human skin that whispers to you in Latin, you don't open it, you burn it. And then you move to another continent. The world is not trying to be mysterious and quirky. It's trying to save your life. Let it. So you've made it this far. You've avoided splitting up. You've barricaded the basement. But now you're facing the final boss. It's not just a guy in a mask. It's a ghost, a demon, an ancient cosmic entity that feeds on fear. And your brilliant plan is to, what? Stab it? You grab a steak knife from the kitchen drawer. You hold it out with a trembling hand, as if you're trying to butter a piece of angry, interdimensional toast. Bringing a physical weapon to a metaphysical fight is futile. You might as well be waving a spatula. You need a supernatural solution. Research, not rummaging through utensils. Remember that creepy old attic book, the one you were supposed to burn? That's your instruction manual. Maybe it can't cross a salt line. Maybe it's vulnerable to a religious icon. You can't fight a ghost, but you can outsmart it. The creature materializes, reeking of ozone and despair. My friends scream. They grab blunt objects. I calmly flip through a long-forgotten grimoire. "It's a tulpa," I announce, voice steady. "You don't kill a nightmare with a knife. You kill it by waking up." So there you have it, a beginner's guide to not becoming a cautionary tale. 9 simple yet apparently elusive rules for surviving the narrative that's trying to kill you. It's not about being the strongest or the fastest. It's about being the one who doesn't run upstairs. It's about having the basic common sense to not poke the spectral bear. The bar is, tragically, very low. You don't need to be a hero. You just need to be slightly less of an idiot than everyone else in the cast. A grim and achievable goal, I think. Remember the monster under your bed, the man in the hockey mask. They're counting on your stupidity. Deny them their meal. Be unpredictable. Be quiet. Be the one who finds the car keys and actually leaves. Be the boring character who lives, not the interesting one who makes for a great jump scare. Thank you for attending this morbid little lecture. Like, subscribe. But do try to stay alive. See you on the other side. Or preferably not. Evil laugh. Ha 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 ha.